used to be a legend.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2022 comedy film Dog, a film that is directed by Reed Carolyn and Channing Tatum, which I didn't realise, and it stars, of course, Channing Tatum, and it focuses on his character Jackson Briggs, who is a former Army Ranger who is on medical leave because he had some kind of brain injury. He's trying very, very hard to get back into the military, but they won't let him back in. His commanding officer then gives him a task of taking this military dog to the funeral of its former master. This dog is something of a aggressive creature. It's not settled well since its owner passed away, so he's got his hands full travelling across country to take this dog to the funeral. As you could imagine, with this being a film like this, along the way they both start to bond and get along. Right, what are my thoughts on Dog? Well, initially I wasn't that really interested in this film. Number one, I'm not a massive fan of Channing Tatum. I think, he's okay, but, he doesn't, when I see Channing Tatum's name across, a sleeve on a film or a poster, it doesn't draw me into it or anything like that. And number two, this is quite an old-fashioned type concept, a dog movie, which we used to get all the time, especially in the 80s and 90s. And the two that jump to mind are Turner and Hooch and K9, obviously. So it just didn't necessarily interest me, but I thought, when I get round to it, I'll watch it. Well, I have watched it now, and I have to say, I really enjoyed this film. It is a completely and utterly harmless film, a very, very safe film to watch. It's entertaining, deeply predictable, you could certainly argue, but I guess anybody watching this film, certainly going into it with the right mentality and intentions, will come away with a smile on their face. It is, like I say, completely inoffensive. There are some moments in this film that you do feel have been certainly ripped directly from films that have come before. And I'm talking about, the destroying of the car, which takes me right back to, films previously, and, the fact that these dogs destroy property and all this kind of stuff. And when he pretends to be blind, which you can see in the trailer and all this kind of stuff, which is something that James Belushi did in K9 as well. So it does suffer, I think, from a lack of originality here and there. But it doesn't really spoil the film in any way, because it's just a really chilled, fun experience that lacks any real threat. Now, what I mean by that is the Turner and Hooch film was a police film in the sense that Tom Hanks was a police officer and he was trying to solve a crime. So ultimately it led to some danger later on in the film. Very similar with K9, James Belushi's character played a police officer, which led to danger later in the film. Danger not only for the main character like James Belushi and Tom Hanks, but direct danger for the dog as well. So there was always that threat, that something could happen to this animal, which is, as we all, as animal lovers, don't want to see in films. So it kind of keeps you, well, you don't really get that with this film. That's what I mean by it's a very, very safe film. The only real threat that we have with this dog is it's kind of hinted at that the dog is going to be destroyed at the end of this funeral because nobody can handle this dog anymore since its owner passed away. But by watching this film and you see how the bonding going along on this road trip, you kind of are comfortable in the knowledge that, whatever they throw at you late in the film, that ain't going to happen. And, guess what? And that's not me giving away spoilers. I mean, you'd be foolish to think, that something bad was going to happen in this, because it never presents it. It never gives this any real threat here in this film. It's just these two characters, this man and this dog, going cross-country, starting off with a very difficult relationship and then slowly learning to bond and gain trust as the film progresses. Coming across certain characters here and there. Kevin Nash turns up, if you know Kevin Nash is, former WWE superstar Diesel. and a few other faces here and there. He goes to see his ex. I think it's in Los Angeles, and his 3-year-old daughter, I think it is, who he hasn't seen for a long time, and trying to build connections there. He takes the dog to see its brother, who was also living in California, I don't know. And that, so you've got these little bits of storylines going on here and there and that kind of stuff. And there's a little bit of a storyline where he gets arrested when the dog attacks somebody in a hotel and this kind of stuff. But again, it's not presented as any real threat or anything like that, or anything to really worry about. And this really is a film that you can just put your feet up and enjoy. We don't get a lot of them anymore. And when we do, people absolutely lambast them and sling all sorts of mud at them. If we just get a film that we can sit and enjoy and kind of turn his brains off and just be entertained and kind of have a smile on his face at the end of it, it almost seems like those films aren't allowed anymore. They have to challenge us in some way, or they have to be fit in a certain box. There has to be all this, politically correct crap in them and all this kind of stuff for them to be worthwhile and have a message and all this kind of stuff. Well, guarantee you guys, this film has none of that. There's no PC or anything like that in this. There's no deep underlying message. It's just a guy and a dog bonding on a road trip. If that sounds attractive to you, then I promise you're going to enjoy this film. I absolutely did, and I'm looking forward to rewatching it. I'm going to buy this when it comes out, and I'm definitely going to be watching this with my wife, because it's a film we will both be able to enjoy together, because we both love dogs. So from my perspective, I'm actually going to give this one an 8 out of 10, just because of the sheer entertainment value. Yes, it does not challenge you in any way, but I don't always want a film to do that. I just want to have a smile on my face when I watch it. This film will certainly give you that. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed my review. I'll be back with loads more content on the channel very, very soon.